Hey guys, it's Charlie, and I wanted to bring you another video because the more I'm searching for news stories to put on my website or talk about on the radio, the more I'm seeing these triggers that point to one thing and one thing only, and it is imminent collapse of this economy, imminent collapse of our environment, imminent collapse of our role in the world as a superpower, and imminent collapse of our lifestyle and potentially society in general. And I know that sounds far-fetched, but let me finish. I'm going to start with Christina Romer today. She's the president's chief economist. Now, this is on a day where the employment for June comes out, the employment report, and we find we've lost over 100,000 jobs in June. We also know that of the jobs created in the last several months, the $1 trillion stimulus package has created a bunch of government jobs, most of which are turning out to be temporary, and we're going to see a continuing decline in them. We're seeing the government lose its will to keep paying unemployment benefits in perpetuity, and so hundreds of thousands of people are coming off the rolls now weekly. And we see housing in May take a 33% dive, the largest on record. We see 25% of the mortgages in the country are still underwater. 50% of all the redo mortgages are now defaulting. And we have a 19% increase month over month in the amount of foreclosures happening, and a 120% increase year over year of short sales. And when Christina Romer's asked, do you think that we're going to enter a double-dip recession? Her answer to Bloomberg, who has no problem publishing this propaganda, is, well, we certainly don't see any signs of that in the data. Now, this is either a blatant omission of reality, a blatant lie to the American people, or a calamity of ignorance, or it's a propaganda stall tactic to keep the masses pacified. And the latter is what I think it is. But the problem is reality's starting to come home on every single front. We're having the reality of unemployment situation because people are coming off the unemployment rolls and they can't find a job. We're having reality of the illegal immigration situation with our own federal government suing a sovereign state for upholding its sovereign borders. We're having the reality of the incompetence of our so-called representatives in dealing with a true national crisis in the Gulf of Mexico. We're having the reality that the corporations, such as BP, can control the data that comes out of that region of the world, the way they're going to handle the cleanup, the toxic chemicals they're going to use to disperse it, and basically every piece of information has to get channeled through the right corporate operatives, or it doesn't come to us. The problem is, for the administration, for the corporations, for the powers that be, the truth is getting out. And people are starting to realize that this thing is coming apart. And it's coming apart rapidly. The economy, most people surveyed now believe we are in a recession still, double dip. There's a large percentage that believe we never came out of it. There was no recovery. And in fact, we're in depression. We're having to have actual individual citizens like Jonathan Wathen take his own money and fly over the Gulf of Mexico to show us the carnage that's being caused by this BP oil disaster, showing 100 dolphins dying in these slicks. And we can't get any true data from our government officials and from the corporations, so we're relying on guys like Jonathan to bring us that testimony. We're hearing from people in the Gulf that it's starting to affect the plant life down there. And we're even hearing reports from guys like Matt Simmons who are saying that we're going to end up evacuating millions of people out of that region. Now, any one item happening in this country or around the world, and the geopolitical things going on I didn't even get into, but any of one of these things going off, if you will, is enough to stymie our economy and to throw us into another down leg in the collapse. But all of these things seem to be coming to a head at the same time. Now, if you're like me, you don't think that that is a calamity of coincidence. You don't think it's just an accident that these things are happening. This is, like Rahm Emanuel says, never waste a good crisis. And the handwriting is on the wall. The UN's coming out saying the dollar shouldn't be the world reserve currency. The head of the European Bank, their Federal Reserve, is talking about global governance. We have a carbon tax that's going to unify the world under a tax system, that failed last year in Copenhagen. Miraculously, we have a disaster in the Gulf of Mexico that is going to be fresh on the minds of everybody when they have the next climate summit in where of all places? Mexico City. So you see, none of these things separately can be called just a freak accident. None of these things separately can be labeled as a conspiracy. But when you put them all together and look at the situation that the whole entire world is in, you can see that we are not too far from stepping on that ultimate landmine of reality that's going to usher in total panic, collapse, chaos, not only in our economic system, but in the actual social fiber, the social fabric of this country. So the reason I'm bringing this video up, another video out, and the reason I'm going to continue to talk about it, because I think time is extremely limited. I think the chance to prepare for what's coming down the road is rapidly running out. So my advice is, has always been for 2 years, get yourself mentally prepared for what's coming, because you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You just have to be wide awake to see what's coming down the road. I'll attach articles to support what I said in this video, but for now, that's all I got.